John was a good man. He had a kind heart. He loved his family and friends. But John also carried a heavy burden. He had struggled with his weight for as long as he could remember. The extra pounds made him feel self-conscious and insecure. As a child, John endured cruel taunts about his size. Kids can be cruel. Their words stung, leaving invisible scars on John's self-esteem. He tried different diets and exercise plans over the years, but nothing seemed to stick. He would lose a few pounds only to gain them back. The cycle of hope and disappointment wore him down. John started to avoid social gatherings. He couldn't bear the thought of enduring more judgmental stares and whispers. It felt easier to hide away than face the world that seemed determined to remind him of his perceived flaws. The laughter of others felt like a constant reminder of his own perceived shortcomings. He longed to feel comfortable in his own skin, to move with ease and grace. But the weight held him captive, both physically and emotionally. It was a weight that went far beyond the numbers on the scale. It was a weight that settled deep in his soul. It was at a family barbecue that John's pain reached a breaking point. Laughter filled the air as children chased each other across the lawn. The adults were engaged in lively conversations. John tried to blend into the background, seeking solace in the familiar comfort of food. A relative, oblivious to John's inner turmoil, made a careless remark about his weight. The words, though likely not intended with malice, pierced through John's defenses like a dagger. The laughter around him seemed to fade away as the weight of the comment settled upon him. It was a moment of clarity, a painful realization that he could no longer ignore the situation. That night, as John lay in bed, he made a decision. He was tired of the cycle of shame and self-sabotage. He was done with hiding from the world. He deserved to live a full and vibrant life, free from the constraints of his weight. He knew the journey would be challenging. He was ready to fight for himself. John's first step was to acknowledge that he couldn't do it alone. He reached out to a support group, finding solace in the shared experiences of others who understood his struggles. Their stories gave him hope. He wasn't alone in this fight. He also consulted a nutritionist who helped him create a sustainable meal plan. He started small, incorporating short walks into his daily routine. Each step, no matter how small, was a victory. He found a local gym and hesitantly stepped inside, intimidated by the rows of unfamiliar equipment. A kind trainer, sensing his apprehension, took him under his wing. With patience and encouragement, the trainer guided John through the basics, teaching him proper form and technique. John committed to exercising 3 times a week. The workouts were hard, pushing him to his limits. But he refused to give up. He started to become familiar with the burn in his muscles, a sign that he was challenging his body and pushing past his comfort zone. Weeks turned into months and John's body began to transform. He lost weight, but more importantly, he gained strength, both physically and mentally. He slept better. His energy soared and his mind felt sharper. The reflection in the mirror began to change. It wasn't just about the weight loss anymore. It was about the light that was returning to his eyes, the newfound confidence in his stance. John started to enjoy the workouts, the feeling of empowerment that came from pushing his limits. He looked forward to the time he spent at the gym, no longer a place of intimidation, but a sanctuary where he could challenge himself and celebrate his progress. He discovered a love for hiking, finding peace and solitude in nature. He embraced healthier eating habits, savoring the flavors of fresh fruits and vegetables. This was not a temporary fix. This was a lifestyle change. John knew that his journey was far from over. He had stumbled and faltered along the way, but he had always gotten back up, dusted himself off, and kept moving forward.